Happy Monday!
Happy Monday, everyone. Today we are going back to the yoga episode, but in a different perspective.
We have our first male guest in the podcast. I'm so excited to learn more on his journey and how wellness has evolved from the beginning to where it is now, especially from a male's perspective.
Yes, so we'll be joining by Himanshu. He's my yoga teacher training teacher, and I'm so excited for that because I spent with him a lot of time on the mat and off the mat. He teach me a lot, and I hope that you will have great time with him too. So let's say hi to Himanshu. Hi, Himanshu.
Hello!
Hi everyone. Hello. Hi.
Okay, so Himanshu, first I introduce you a little bit. You are a main teacher in Yoga Union in Bali, but can you tell us more about you, just to start to our audience learns a little bit?
Yes, definitely. First of all, hello everyone. My name is Himanshu. I'm originally coming from Rishikesh. Rishikesh is quite north part of India, which is a little bit also famous for known as a yoga capital of the world.
Mm.
Um, so this is what I would say inspire me. This word is coming from there and watching or growing up between a lot of yoga teachers, or I would say yogis, where during my childhood journey, I was growing up watching them. However, still I wasn't, because I was still a kid, so I still wanted to more play around, more playful things, more sporty thing, but instead of going back to being a little bit more serious about the asanas or about the life. I think it was too early for me. So, but after I catch up with that, and I got some inspiration from watching my friends, also my family. My father also have a little bit of background of yoga, uh,
Mm.
and which I'm gonna explain afterwards. And that's how my yoga journey began. And then I done my 200-hour teacher training in India in Rishikesh, 300-hour same school Rishikesh Yogpeeth. And while I was doing my teacher training, I thought of, yeah, this is it. This is something what I really want to more focus on. And being lucky part of India, being lucky part of Rishikesh, we also have degrees in yoga, like graduate degrees. So I done
Mm.
a bachelor's in yoga for 3 years. And it wasn't enough for me. So I wanted to go more further. And that's why I continue my journey with a master's of yoga for 2 years. So bachelor's and master 5 years in
Oh,
total. And then, well, finger cross, I'm hoping to pursue sooner my PhD in yoga as well. We'll see how it will
Wow.
go. And
wow.
yes, that's how my journey began in yoga.
I think you will get to that point because you are a really an inspiration. And I will tell that every time I spoke to somebody about my yoga teacher training, about the school, about the teachers who inspires me, you are one of them. So I'm really, I have my fingers crossed. I didn't know that. So that's the new news for me too. But yeah, the master in yoga, when I first heard it, I was speechless. I was like, we don't have it here in Europe. You
I
cannot
didn't
be
even
master.
know that exists for master and then a PhD too.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
mean, for me as well, like after done my bachelor and master, because it was long time ago, and from a long time, I'm feeling like I want to get much more deeper on this. So that is why I'm thinking of PhD, hopefully sooner.
Is it also in India?
Yes, it
Or
will be also in India. Yes,
I
yes, yes.
see.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to go back to India for that, or
Yes, and I'm trying to figuring out how I can do that. That is why it taking a little bit longer time. Because I have to see how I can, even if I'm staying in Bali, how I can able to do it in India, that PhD.
wow.
You will
Yes.
figure it that out because like Bali will miss you a lot. Like students will miss you a lot. I knew that some students come to Yoga Union in Bali for you to teach them. So like you will be missed.
Yeah, I mean, such a like for example, as you said as well, few words about me. I mean, I'm also very blessed to have you as a student and a lot of other people who comes and specially ask for me. I mean, that's their love, and that is my passion, which I really love to deliver. And I think this is what connects the most, and this is how I think the energy match, and people loves it what I do, and appreciation comes, and yeah.
You already tell us a little bit about your journey, but you said that your journey as a teacher starts a little bit later, so you feel that it's your journey. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, definitely. So basically, when I was growing up, I saw my father. I think you did discuss this also with Aka, and Aka so bring her father into it, and it's similar story because I listen your podcast with the Aka as well. So
That's
and
so
that
nice.
yeah, that is also reminds me of, oh, that's a quite similar story. But I mean, I think her dad was a gold medalist, where my dad did not had that, but he was a one also. Because my father has a priest background, so he's priest,
Mm.
so he wakes up quite early, let's say 3:30 to 4 o'clock in the morning, and do his ritual. So that is the after his ritual ceremony, he come to home and start doing his pranayamas, meditation. He's not a lot into asanas, but he was used to take his silent walk and go outside to do more or less like a physical work.
Mm.
Uh, was a lot into pranayamas and meditation, and honestly speaking, I used to wake up just because of listening him breathing, big next
Wow.
door. So that's how when I see grew up seeing him as well to perform this, and then I get to know, okay, he's doing something called it yoga, which helps him to stay calm, which helps him to stay mentally strong and physically strong.
Mm.
But again, as mentioned as well before, it's like quite in a childhood, like you don't want to sit and do those things because you're just quite young, and so my dad tried to put me into it, but I think, quite young to understand that. But yes, after once I realized, once I tried it and I keep watching people doing surrounding me these things, I was like, okay, no, I want to try once. Like, I want to see what happening. And that was the time when everything changed.
Mm.
And what I feel, what changed in me, and I feel what another human being coming out of me is totally incredible. And that was one reason I do like to share with others, and that is how I plan to become a yoga teacher, because
Mm.
transformation on my body, transformation on my mentally.
How old
Uh,
were you around then?
well, when I started actual first time yoga, I was 17.
Okay.
Uh, I would say teacher training, I started 17-year-old, but teaching in teacher training course, but I started already, let's say 16, teaching some locals people, because I do wanted to do it something for the people as well, because
Mm.
we learned, so in India, generally a lot of teachers, when we learn from them, uh, a lot of teachers, they do not take money from you. It's like
Um,
for them, a karma yoga is like they learn from the teacher and they give it to you as a free of cost. But this says like whatever you get it from us, do not just keep it with you. Do not share only this knowledge because of the money. You should also share this knowledge whoever need it. And
yeah.
might the person will not able to pay you at that moment. That's okay. Do not expect anything back. And that is what I started doing in the age of quite young age, let's say 16.
Mm.
I had some of the friends and people around who were asking about the yoga, and I was like, okay, this is a time for me to give it something back, what I learned from my teachers. And I used to just teach some people, and that was also the time when see so much transformation on the other people as well, not just only
Mm.
physically, mentally as well. And that what's helped me to keep going. And tell you the truth, like after the class, when they used to smile at me, that was the thing, like which was like I'm doing something good in my life, and I want
Mm.
to just
Wow.
keep go. And
Wow.
that was the reason, like I keep go from that time and until now I'm here, and nothing is stopping me so far, and I'm just keep going and keep watching people smiling, keep watching people feel proud on themselves, keep watching
Yeah.
how transformation comes in their journey and all.
I love that. And we often joke that all the stories of this podcast and our guests somehow magically link back to Bali. So how did you then end up in Bali? I heard from Magda there was an amazing story. Can you share with us?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I would say it's all about destiny. Like wherever the destiny is written down, you will end up being there. So there was a yes, quite funny story how I end up being in Bali. It wasn't that planned, honestly, but my boss, her name is Orania. She's a founder of Yoga Union Bali, and so she was sitting in a cafe, and there was one of my student who'd done a training under me in India, and they start speaking about yoga somehow just randomly, and suddenly she just mentioned like, oh, I just done my teacher training in India, and she said my Orania said like, oh, I have a school here in Bali. So then she asked, where did you done, how did you done, who was your teacher? And then I think she speaks some good words about me, like telling like, oh, it was amazing time, and like she mentioned my name couple of time, and that's what for my boss, for Rania, is like put it in her mind, like, oh, she was keep
Mm.
listening my name from her, and she was quite impressed how much I could able to change in her life. And then she asked, can I have contact of your teacher? And that's how, so she passed on my contact, and this is how she contact me through via WhatsApp, and she asked me if I want to come to Bali, and I was like, definitely, let's give a try. And I come here, and once I come here, because I was quite young, right now I'm 27. So when I came to Bali, I was 20. And
Mm.
so when I come here, and she realized, like, oh, I'm not sure if this is what I was thinking, because I was very young. I was looked very young as well. And she was like, I don't know how this person gonna handle 30 people in a class, because he's quite young.
Mm.
The student's gonna take serious to him or not? Because that was, I think, the first impression I gave it to her.
Mm.
She asked me, is it possible to give a one class to the students? And the moment I entered to the class, and she was just sitting on the back to observing, and the moment I entered and the moment I started, after 5 minutes, she was like, okay, yes, you are in. Can you stay? And let's go further, because she said the you look very young, as in your body and as your face, but the moment you sit on the mat, the moment you start, the way you start, you look super mature. Uh, and I was like, yeah, because I'm doing this already from 4 years, so it wasn't something new for me. So yeah, that's how
I think like
Bali.
see, it's like a similar story to us. We were talking in some previous episodes about how we look young and how people
Yes,
said to us that no, you are maybe I'm
not
worried
sure.
if you handle it. Yeah, I'm not sure. And
Yeah.
we share some tips, especially to women, how to be more strong and
Confident.
independent. Yeah, yeah. So that's the similar story, and I'm sure that after 5 minutes, Urania say yes to you because I remember all of your classes. And as I said, always, it was the hardest classes in my life, but I have the best smile after it. And I love it. Like I can do it like and do it again. So when I flew back to Bali last year, I asked you, can I join your class? Because I just want to feel the pain and the smile again. I can
So
do it.
last year when you went back during the meditation teacher training, you went
Yeah,
back to
after we
Himanshu's class.
finished, I joined Himanshu
Ah,
classes. And I
okay. Why
was
didn't you bring
after
me?
you were already gone to Hong Kong, girl. Come on, I
Oh,
told
okay. I
you.
left already.
Yeah, you
Well,
left
I'm not
already,
sure if
but
I'm
I
ready
I
for this
love that
hardcore
classes.
yoga,
Yeah,
though.
and it was like my first classes after the injury I have, and I told you
Ah,
after that it was my first classes after a long time, and I was impressed how I can push myself to my limits without injure, without the pressure, because you do it like so smoothly. Like, you can like, yeah, Magda, you can do it. Come on, let's go. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can do it. Even I'm after my injury, and I was like, feel the happiness there. I remember Fire Shala, my teacher training, all of the classes. I remember when you were like, there's for people who don't know, there is rice fields around, so we will see that who is coming for our classes because we have different teachers. And when the group see that Himanshu is coming, we were both like happy and scared at the same time. That was my memories from that. But we love your classes, really.
Thank you.
you
Thank
get
you.
your candid feedback from your students right here, right now.
I know. And that's again, as I said before, like it's like how they appreciate, and that's what helped me to keep going, honestly. Like if they weren't appreciating that, that might be I wouldn't keep going and wouldn't keep going with the same energy. And because as I said, I'm doing from a long time, and but only
Mm,
what helps me to keep going, as Magda said, and as a lot of other students also mentions, which helped me to keep going because this is what I find like I'm doing something good in life. So giving a smiles on a people face and sweat on their body.
Yes,
true.
that's true. See, I will take you next time you will be in Bali. We need to arrange that. We'll go to Himanshu classes,
I
but
will
you can
prepare it
join
mentally
Himanshu
first.
online. We will talk
Yes.
about it soon, but you can join Himanshu online. So
Yeah.
if you want to know when and where, you need to stay to the end of the episode because we will be talking about that. So, as we said, Himanshu is your everyday life. So, are there any rules in your classes that you apply to it?
Well, I do make sure whoever enters in a class, whoever comes in a class, so make sure they feel do comfortable about their body, about themselves, and this is what I try to brings in their practice as well, in terms of they don't feel demotivated, and that is the only rule I try to keep it in my class. Like no, none of the person should feel demotivated, or none of the person should feel I can't do it. I
Mm,
just try to, even though I push them quite deep into their body, but at the same time, I make sure they knows their limit. And this is what I try to keep tell everyone during the teaching as well. Whenever you feel like it's becoming a lot for you, don't worry to take your rest and then come back whenever you're ready. And that is a very important rule we have. I think I do bring for my class. And second thing is just make sure everyone is respectful for each other, respectful towards the teacher, and me respectful about their body as well. So these are two important things I would say I generally like to bring in a class. Just first, make sure they don't feel demotivated and make sure they know their self strength. And second, they knows how to respect others, even though someone is not super flexible or not super
mm.
strong. Still, we need to appreciate the person because they are giving their best to work it out until the end of the training.
That's true. I remember for my yoga teacher training, everybody was trying to give their best, but of course there are different levels of
Definitely.
yoga as well, and it's important that we respect each other in that atmosphere, and less about competing with each other. But sometimes it does give up sometimes this vibe of people try to compete each other and being the best to do the best asana as well. So, Himanshu, we talked about how sometimes our society perceived yoga as just physical exercise, and we talked about it with Aka's episode as well. But in fact, it's a lifestyle we talked about. It's also a state of mind, and it's really a part of everyday life. Is that what you share in your class as well?
Definitely, and I totally agreed with the Akash point as well. Is not only about the physical practice; it's in the end, it's all about how to get a self-control with yoga, like how you can control your body, your mind, your breath. This is the most important thing. And however, for that, asanas comes first because until unless you do not have a good control in your body, it's quite challenging to control. It's quite challenging to control being seated in a one position, which means which gonna not able to help you to do your pranayamas. Because
Mm,
if you wanna start with your pranayamas and after 1 minute if you have to move, which means the concentration move. So that's not going to help you to keep concentrate on your body. Definitely, what I try to also lead or teach in a class as well, and for myself as well, is I always try to ask the students or tell the student it's the most important goal of the yoga practice not to be on the hands always. It's more about how long you're gonna sit. That's what
mm,
matters the most. It's not about like I don't think so anyone gonna ask like how long can you stay in your handstand. But until unless if you cannot sit comfortably for let's say a couple of minutes or an hour, the handstand doesn't matter.
mm. Yeah.
So for me, first comes definitely the physical practice has to be there because with the physical practice, I can able to control my body to be sitting longer And once my body is quite open to sit for a longer time, I can able to focus on my pranayamas. And when I can able to focus on my pranayama for a longer time and sitting longer, that automatically going to help me to come into the meditation state as well, or try to do meditation as well. So yes, work on a base. This is the my motive and motto throughout the class. Even in a teacher training, the first thing when I go, I write it down on a board with a big letter base. Focus on a base. The rest will come automatically.
Yes, that's
Mm.
true. And I think that still, as she said, and as we shared before, the society thinks that yoga is about difficult poses, and that people are thinking that someday they will achieve that. And I think there is no pose that you cannot perform, Himanshu. I saw that on class, and you can see that on Himanshu's Instagram. But let's tell people that it took years to do that. That's first. And the second, that it's not about the perfect pose. It's about trying. It's about staying there and be there on the mat every day, as Aka said in her episode, and be there every day for you, because you are doing this for you, not for somebody else. And
Exactly.
what do you think about that?
Definitely, like what you said, I'm totally agree with that. It's more about, I always says that consistency is a key of achieving any positions. So as you said, like, yes, I can able to perform a lot of poses. Well, I don't want to say like I can perform everything, but I mean, majority of
I
things
think
I
you
can
are.
perform. Majority of things I can perform. But again, as you said as well, it's not I mean, a lot of people says like, oh, you're from India, so you can able to perform it. It's not like I born with that. I'm not born with those poses. And I always joke in a class, I'm not the someone who get born in a yogic squat or malasana. So but again, it's a as you mentioned before, it's a matter of consistent practice. So yes, it took me a lot of year to continue practice, being consistent on the mat, spending minimum 2 3 4 hours on the mat every day, 1 to 2 hours in the morning, 1 to 2 hours in the evening, to help me to get there where I am today, to have a good understanding of the poses. And once I have a good understanding of the poses, that helps me to deliver better to my students as well.
Mm.
So definitely, as you mentioned, is like nowadays, this is what I'm trying to also changing people's mindset. Is like it's not about always having challenging poses or able to perform challenging poses. Even though you're trying, that's more than enough. Just be consistent, keep working on your base. Everything will gonna come on your way. Definitely gonna take 6 months, 7 months, year, 10 years, and that's okay. No one cares. The most important is your body need to be healthy, and your body just
Mm.
need to going even until you're 80 or 90.
Yes,
So
and
this is
for
what.
everybody, the different position is the master, the goal. Because I saw some dancers on my yoga teacher training that's she or he can done everything almost, but she or he struggles in some positions that I can do, but they cannot. And it's not about comparing, but it's about that everybody will have a different journey, and that's okay. And I love that in yoga, that yoga brings that to everyday life and show us in this purest version that we are different and we are on the same way but in a different style, I can say.
I love it when
Definitely. And
Himanshu talked about consistency, because I think you must have been our third guest that talked about
Yeah.
consistency, and we know how important it is, and you emphasize that too. And I love it how you make it something that we all should be focusing on too.
That's the
definitely.
favorite word of the Monday Duo podcast guest: consistency. I need to mark that down.
Exactly. I mean, I totally agreed, because until you don't have a consistency, you will not able to keep go. And if you do not have a consistency and you have some goals to achieve, that is a time when the frustration come. So if you keep go, definitely things will go come and you will not frustrate about anything anymore.
I love that. Now let's switch a little. With Magda, we have prepared a list of guests that we want to invite to our podcast. But when it comes to male guests, in the wellness space especially, we did struggle a little. As mentioned, you are our first male guest on the podcast, and we do notice there is an imbalance with more women embarking on this wellness journey than men. Do you share the same perspective?
Well, for that, I will take you a little bit back. If I take you a bit back, as in traditionally in India, if I will mention that part, in India, most in tradition time, we were more male yoga practitioners than the female. So many
Okay.
male used to do yoga, and also same time, while in a tradition time in the back then, when a lot of male used to do yoga, uh, I think in the West at the same time there was a lot of people who are more into strength training. So
Mm,
that was a thinking. If you compare two different things here right now, even right now in India, the most teacher are or yoga teacher are the male yoga.
interesting.
Then in a West, I believe, and again, what I see is mostly comes as a female,
Mm,
because the male was more into the strength. However, this is also changing now, which I really like to see the male coming in the classes, because because now they realize it's not only about the strength. It's not
mm,
only making a bigger biceps or shoulders, or the but it's more also about uh, to how you, with the flexibility, how much you can able to work on your injuries, like, because if you only keep work on a strength and you don't bring mobility in your practice, there is a time when you can get possibility injured in with the time, or after time possibilities. So I think they are becoming aware of that, and now they are coming into yoga journey as well. And as of now, I see in our every training, almost this training as well, I have a five male student. uh,
wow.
in the one of the training I got six. I think that it was a previous training I had a six male students in a class. So it's becoming more and more, and I'm super happy to see a lot of people are getting to know the benefits out of it, like working on a strength plus mobility, and at the same time knowing their self journey. And
Mm,
this is the most of the time now, which I really also enjoy, is getting a question from the male student is about, not only about talking about handstands, but talking about also how to work in them.
Do you think it will be a trend right now so that the more male will come to the teacher trainings? Because I remember my teacher training, it was in 2023, and there was only one man there. And when I visit Bali and I was on your classes, I think there was like four or five, as you said. So do you see that it will be a trend?
especially you are in Bali, where people go to Bali for yoga, for teacher training, and you've been there for 7 years. So I'm curious to learn that from you.
Yes, I believe so. It will gonna change, and as I'm seeing a lot in a social medias as well, like the male also start getting more into it, because again, for me, it doesn't matter how they come into this journey. Why I'm saying that, I will gonna explain this, is because now I see when we talk about the fancy poses like arm balancings and all, it makes everyone to give a try on that, even though
Mm,
they it's nothing to do with the yoga at this moment. But even to they come into to this practice, to this journey, through this, like, just to check on, like, oh, I want to do a crow pose, or I want to do a handstand, or I want to do a forearm stance. Even if this is something bringing them here, which I'm so happy, because the the way they gonna come in this way into this journey, that gonna help them to go much more deeper, and they will gonna get to know more about themselves. Because definitely when you go to a yoga class, it's not only you doing a handstand or crow pose. Before the class, you start with some gentle meditation, breathing techniques. Towards the end of the class, you do shavasana, you do some pranayamas. That helps them to know more about yoga. And
mm,
then they will slowly change up their mind with, oh, it's not only about being on the hands, it's also about knowing yourself. It's also
mm,
about how I'm breathing. It's also about what my body telling me, reading my body, learning from about my body. So I'm super happy, even though just fancy poses bringing them, not for all, but let's say majority. But this is what gonna how we
Make them
say
stay and
exactly
continue
to
the path.
continue. Yes,
No,
exactly.
it's nice to hear that that there is more male into this space. But what else do you think needs to happen to help continue educating or encourage them to have more male into this space?
Well, I think the first very important thing I would say to creating a safe environment for them as well. Like we
Mm.
always like a male is like a male power egoistic. I think it's not always like that. We also have a lot of males comes in a class, and there's a lot of classes comes when it comes to emotional release. They try to hide their emotions to not to get to cry in front of people. From your audience as well, I want to share them, and I want them to share to the others as well. It's like male also can express their emotions. They can also cry in a class, and that's okay. And male person also have to cry as well, because to release all these emotions,
Yeah.
and once they release these emotions, they also open up their body as well, because there's
Yes.
some part of our body who store a lot of emotions as well. At the same time, to order to release that, they need to let it out. So it happens with me a lot of times. Sometimes students are holding up their tears, and the moment they go to, one time it happens quite funny, it's like someone went to the washroom and cried there, and I could hear him from
Oh.
the outside. But again, because I believe like we do need to make a safe environment for them, where uh, when without a judgmental judgments, they can enter the class, they can express themselves, they can express their emotions as well. And I think this is something what I would believe needs to happen much more,
Mm.
which gonna brings, or which gonna automatically interact more male people into yoga journey.
I love that. I almost feel like we need another episode for you to talk about this, just this, to share this message across to everyone else, to our listener who is thinking about getting into this journey. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's really important that we touch this topic because I've hear a lot of saying, okay, yoga is just for girls, only girls go to yoga. And I always said, no, like in the traditional yoga, it's more men was there. Come on, guys. So I'm happy that you share that story too. And I think you are an inspiration for hope men to are listening to us to start this journey. And if we want to start this journey with you, we need to go back to yoga topic again. So as I said, you are a teacher for 200 hours, for 300 hours in Yoga Union in Bali. But you have 50 hours of art adjustment, as I know. You have online classes, group classes. So can you share with our audience how they can practice with you?
Yes. So as you already mentioned, 200 hour, 300 hour. Yes, I'm do teaching in Bali with Yoga Union, and same as 50 hours art of adjustments. Basically, if I could explain a little bit about the art of adjustment, it's about mostly for the teachers who are already into this yoga journey and teaching and sharing this their knowledge to the others. But a lot of time, I believe a power of touch is very important to our students, because only with the some adjustments they can get quite deeper into their posture, quite deeper into their journey, and whatever they want to achieve. Sometimes it become easier with the teacher guidance. So
Mm.
that's when the adjustment comes.
Mhm.
And I personally love in a class, the most thing I love in a class to give is the adjustments. So the person can know about their body better, and they know the correct alignment. So it can stop them for any kind of injuries if might
Mm.
the position they were doing was wrong. And if you go ahead and correct the people, so they can be in a right alignment, and that helps them to get deeper into their poses as well. So this is but I was also hearing from a lot of our students who already done their 200 hour and 300 hour. They says, oh, everything going great, I'm loving it, I'm loving this journey, just the only part where I'm struggling to giving the adjustment, touching my student. I'm not sure, I'm still not feeling that confident. And that was a time when it comes to my mind is, okay, I want to give them more confident when they're gonna go in a class so they can give them some adjustment to the students.
Mm,
uh, that's when I come with this training, and now it's already I done 3 trainings. Every year I do one training. um,
mm,
we have another training this year which is 6 days in total, where the students and the teacher who understand how to be in a correct alignment, and how to correct their student, and how to give them adjustment to get deeper. And if they have some, if someone have any kind of injuries, how to how they can protect their student from those injuries, and getting more, like getting more, giving more damage to that.
mm,
So to how you can prevent that. So this is all about the art of adjustments. And online classes I do give every weekend, either on Saturday or Sunday. It's around 4:30 to 5 p.m. Bali time. I mean, you can have all this information through my Instagram as well. Like if you go and you can see their site, and you can click and you can have everything there, or you can always send a message. So my online class is every weekend, is a live class, where again I teach a vinyasa class for an hour, and help the students to get deeper into their poses, and as push them. And this is what they like from me, is to I push them quite deeper into their limits. And that is why a lot of past student or new student, they would like to come and join to get be deeper and be connected with Bali and with me and with their practice.
I am writing down all this information already,
We
so
need to
I'm
Perfect.
see,
joining.
go to the online classes, Himanshu,
Yeah,
together. So you will feel the what I was feeling
I'm
in my
signing up
200
first, so
hours.
first in line, first in line.
Perfect.
Yeah, we need to do that. I think we need to schedule that.
Definitely, I would love to guys. You have you there.
Yeah, so just to sum up a little bit our episode with you, can you tell us, because as you're a teacher, you're teaching every day the international students, people coming from around the world. I think you are a perfect example how yoga is an international language, because there is people from all around the world joining by one topic, that is yoga, in fire shara, air shara, in different shalas in Bali. But how this experience as a teacher change you? What it gives you in your everyday life?
Well, as you said, like people from all over the world, they come and join here, which is, I would say, quite definition of yoga. Yoga means unite, and we are uniting people from the all over the world here.
Mm,
And that is what I would say the most magical part, because as you mentioned, like people from all over the world come for one purpose, which is yoga. And yoga means union or unite, and we all get unite there. So we're all energy in a one space, and then that's how we do get connect and practice and do all day schedule. And as a teacher, what does help me, as I mentioned before, is watching them day by day, because it's a 200 hours, a 23 days of journey, and 300 hours is like 30 to 31 days of the journey. But each training, what I see and what makes me keep going and what I learn from it is like how each person have a different body, but
mm,
even having a different body, how much they improve with the day by day. First day, they are all very much nervous, talking about just a one posture, discussing one posture. But until the end of the training, they speak or they teach their 30 minutes of the class. This is a journey how I keep learn, because when they teach the 30-minute lesson in the end, there's always something to learn from them, because
mm,
what they learning from us and what their understanding takes, and when they combine this is how they bring up more creativity. And once the creativity come, uh, their mind also open up more. As a teacher, we are also open up more and to understand, oh wow, that it can be also done by this way. Definitely, like it's not only like what you learn as
mm,
your teachers. No, it's all over, because each body is different, each person is different, each person has different way to approach towards one thing. So this is what basically I learn from them, is to being how they being creative with our thoughts and with their own thoughts, and when they mix up that. And this is to sum it up with that is the growth they have in this 23 days of journey, 5 days of journey, even a 50 hours, even this 30 days of journey. It changes a lot. It changes a lot because from the morning until the evening they are in a one space, smiling, laughing, crying, sweating, everything together. And that's it's a magical thing.
Yeah,
And
we
as
were
That's
you're
talking
amazing.
about with C a lot. Like we were, that was this 3 weeks of 200 hours. We did it in different schools and we have the same experience that it was a
Full
lot of
of sweat,
emotions, a lot of sweat, a lot of people
tears.
that you have like friends for life, that you create this yoga family. I follow the journeys of every student that I was in class with. We support each other, even it was like 3 years ago. It's so powerful. And I remember how my friends told me after I came back, Magda, you changed, like you are different. And I said, yes, it's experience that change you in all of good ways. It's giving you more peace and more alignment and more to your body.
So, just to adding on Magda, what you said as exactly, this is what I also tell in the graduation ceremony to the people is like, I'm sure now you feel a totally different person. However, you know what? The funny part is here, what I believe, it's not like you change. No, you just found yourself. And this is
Mm.
you. This is you. And this is how it feels when you become happy. And before that, before the training, of course everyone have their own chaos going on in their life, like okay, I want to do some yoga and do something different in my life, and they come to teacher training. And when these 3 weeks transform them, and it's not I again, as you mentioned, like how your friends was finding you, you're quite different, the glow is become different in your face, in your body. You shows the confidence to the people. But tell you the truth, I think yes, definitely yoga helps, but this is you. And yoga just brings from inside from you who you are actually, and
Yeah,
who
I'm getting emotional here because that's the same I've heard on my closing ceremony, my graduation ceremony. You are the
yeah.
one who gave me my yoga diploma, and I'm teaching people here in Poland from the events. I giving them space to yoga, so I'm having a little bit emotional here. Yeah, that was a really beautiful journey, and I'm happy that I can, spread the message about yoga here in Poland and give people a chance to practice and to go deeper into yourself because I was in the spiritual journey for a while before I came to yoga teacher training, but I think I found there a piece of me that I was missing through that whole journey. So yeah, I was here a little bit emotional.
So good to
Although
hear that. No,
yeah,
definitely. Let's see.
it's lovely. I mean, although I didn't do the teacher training for the students, but I also did teach some yoga after I completed the learning in Thailand. But seeing the students also improve day by day throughout months, it's also something that gives me joy to see. And sometimes you become their listener. They tell you about their stories and how yoga has changed them. And it's something that keeps motivating us as teachers. And I really love that. Although we don't want to wrap up, but I think our last question to Himanshu is that what advice would you give somebody who may be just starting their own yoga journey?
I would say to first of all to anyone whoever starting the yoga journey, doesn't matter male or female, is to keep a patience and never give up and keep your consistency. So these three things, I think the most important thing in the end, they both all three have a similar meaning: being patience and keep it going and never give up, which means and keeping consistency. If you do this and in a regular base, if you keep start from little by little and keep the pace up with the time, definitely you will see the growth in your body, in yourself, in mentally, physically, and you will see your body what you never thought of your body could do. Your body will able to do that things as well, and that's gonna motivate you more. So the only thing, one part I would say, just keep yourself patience and keep yourself consistent into this
Mm,
journey, because it is not English, or I don't know how would put it in a word. It's not a medicine which you just swallow and gonna
mm,
change everything. No, this is a medicine. We have saying in Ayurveda is there is a English medicine we says which helps you to cure right away, but it just help you to cure for some certain time, maybe for
mm,
2 days, 3 days, 4 days. But when we says for Ayurveda we says is like if you take any medicine, it will not gonna cure you in 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, or it will only not gonna only cure you for these days, but it may gonna take a week to cure you, but it's gonna take everything out of you. So I would say just keep yourself patience and keep practicing. That's gonna help. Definitely.
Well, everyone, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and to follow Himanshu. We'll have his details on the bio, and we'll see you there together on his online class.
Yeah, thank you,
Yay.
Himanshu, once again for accepting our invitation. It was so nice to have you here. You are officially first male guest in the Monday Duo podcast. We are so happy. And I'm so excited to see you in Bali soon, hopefully for some classes. So see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me as well. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so next week we will dive into numerology. I will take you on this journey with me, so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe our channel so you will see the episode next Monday.
So do tell us if you have any comments about this episode, and see you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.